Cold wind blowing, shadows growing, creepy creatures in the night they're showing. Wee whispers filling up my mind, spooky shivers running down my spine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Shivers Podcast, where we discuss short horror stories and other horror media and try not to get scared. My name is Ben, and joining me today is my co-host Ethan.
How's it going, everybody? Excited to be here.
Good to have you, mate. So Ethan, do you want to run through everyone what we do here on this podcast?
No worries. So, basically, me and Ben will just look through different types of horror media, like Reddit stories, look into some movies, true crime, all that sort of stuff. And we'll probably do like small analysis of each, give our own opinions, and just sort of discuss how it works and all that.
Yeah, we're kind of just playing fast and hard here. Sometimes we'll have sort of more structured episodes where we'll do ranking of movies or games, or sometimes we'll just dribble, just have a bit of a ramble off the top of the head, just on a certain topic when we can't be bothered doing our homework.
We saw X's.
Today I just feel like talking about the Saw franchise. I just saw the newest one, Saw X, a couple months ago. And I've just been waiting to talk about it. Have you seen it, Ethan?
I haven't seen the whole movie, but I have watched some YouTube videos, like a Dead Meat video and all that.
Yeah, nice. Well, I don't know if you care if it's spoiled or not, but I loved it. I think it was probably one of the better movies from that franchise in many years. Obviously, I'd say the first 3, maybe 4 were good, and then from 5 onwards, it was just fell off. And that stupid one with fucking Chris Rock, garbage.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. They pumped out one every year from like 2004, and it just went on. And I think they had a break after
Saw 3D in 2010.
Yeah. I think one of them, I can't remember which one. I think it was Saw 7. I think they had Chester Bennington of Linkin Park, and he was playing a neo-Nazi. I think that's pretty common knowledge, though. I don't think that's anything new.
I did not know that.
No, didn't you? All right. Yeah, he was the one that was in the car, and his like back was glued to the back seat of the car, and he had to like rip the skin off.
That was Saw 3D.
Yeah. It's the only good part about that movie, I think. And it's so funny. The first movie started off as like a cop drama. Oh no, sorry. It was more of like a mystery type deal. And it had like a cop drama B plot, but then by the end of the series it was just a cop drama with a B plot of like saw traps.
Yeah, because I think in the second movie it focuses on a cop and his son.
Yeah, what's that? Donnie Wahlberg, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets all fat for the next one, and he gets his head smashed in with blocks of ice.
But yeah, like it just falls off with the Saw plot, I guess, and focuses on cops and all that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the longer the series went on, the more flashbacks they had, like retconning shit and just going back on it and saying, "Oh, well, actually, if you zoom out in this one scene, there was actually person A talking to person B over here, who doesn't show up for another 4 movies." And it's just, it just
That happens so much in the series where like something isn't explained and then 3 or 4 movies later, it's like, oh, flashback time.
Yeah, like the box. I can't remember. They're all a blur, but one of them, Jigsaw's wife Jill gets a box, and you don't even see what's in the box until like 2 movies later.
Yeah, and it's revealed like there's a list of names, and then I'm pretty sure it doesn't show the final name, which was Hoffman. And I think like that whole thing is like who gets trapped and whatever.
Yeah, it was just it's exhausting. I stand by it though. I think the first and the second one are fantastic, and the third one's not too bad. And then they all kind of fall off. I remember.
Yeah, like especially like, bloody Saw 3D. When that was released, it was obviously jumping on the wagon of 3D movies.
Atrocious. That's just a
And-
CGI mess.
Yeah, it was not done well.
But I remember when Jigsaw came out. I think that's like the 8th one. I think they tried to like do like a soft
Yeah, it is.
reboot. And God, that was. Oh, it was just such a fucking drag, that movie.
Honestly, I didn't mind it all too much. Like most of the characters weren't likable, but I liked some of the traps. Pretty.
That's
cool
the thing, though.
idea.
I don't think anyone watches Saw anymore for the characters who, like, no one gives a fuck about any of them. They're all just fodder.
Yeah, I think the only ones where it really mattered is like the first 2 or 3, where like they're introducing all the characters. But from then on, like anyone who's in a trap isn't really important.
Yeah, and it's just when you're watching them, it's good to keep in mind that if you see a character and they survive that movie, they're probably going to end up in a trap in the next movie or the movie after that.
100%.
Like, yeah, Donnie Wahlberg. Who was Riggs, the cop? He ends
I
up
think so.
in a game. Do you have a favorite trap from that series?
I have quite a few, but some of them that I like were some of the unbeatable ones made by like Amanda and all that.
Let's hear 'em.
First one would probably have to be the like the angel trap. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. The one
Where
where she
one of
sticks
the-
her hands in the acid.
Yeah, to try and get the key, and like you find out later that it was rigged because even once she got the key and tried to unlock it, she was still stuck. And then it was revealed that Amanda was the one making all the rigged traps, so it played into the plot quite well.
Yeah, it just ripped her fucking ribcage open.
Yeah.
It was a really cool shot. I think the next movie, they find her and there's like all rats and shit in her chest and it's so disgusting, but it's such a cool shot.
Mm.
What else you got?
I did also like the shotgun carousel one. I think that was in. I think that was in
6?
5 or something.
Nah, 6 I think. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it might be 7 actually. That's the insurance
Oh no,
one.
it was 6.
Was it?
Yeah. It's basically where a bunch of people are tied to a carousel spinning around, and a dude needs to puncture his hand in order to stop and like lift up the shotgun to save a victim.
Mm.
And I think he can only do that like twice. And so he basically just had to choose who to save, and that was at like the very beginning of Saw 6.
Mm.
And yeah, it's basically showing that John would be fine with killing that many people all in one.
Yeah, because I think one of them sings out. She's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant," and then
And everyone told her to shut up. It's like, no, you're not.
yeah, everyone called bullshit. And then he saved her, didn't he?
No, I don't think she did end up saving her.
Oh, it was so funny though. The last guy that died, he was like, "Look at me, you look at me when you kill me." And it was so fucking dumb. It was some of the shittest
Yeah.
voice acting, some of the shittest acting I've ever seen.
But I guess it was a good start to the movie. Actually, no, I think this was the trap after where But the dude who was choosing who survives, he was in a trap before that.
Yeah, the young fella and the old bird that had like the barbed wire around the neck.
No, I think the starting trap was the oxygen one where he was put with a smoker.
Yeah, the janitor.
Yeah.
That's so funny. There's no way that he's not gonna die.
Yeah, that's just killing a smoker. Like,
come on, man. Isn't smoking for like 40 years, and then Jigsaw's like,
that's another thing. John trapped people for like some of the stupidest reasons sometimes.
That cracks me up. It's so dumb.
Sometimes it'd be drug addiction, which is fair enough. But then for smoking.
Well, yeah, because his whole like I don't know what you'd call it, his creed, I guess, is trying to rehabilitate people, which like in the first movie made sense because they were like drug addicts and just like the worst kind of people. But then I can't remember which one. One of the movies has got such a dumb reason. I can't remember which one I'm thinking of, but it's just so funny seeing like him trying to justify his own actions, and everyone's like, "You're a killer, you're a killer," and the whole time he's like, "I didn't kill anybody. I didn't do that."
Like, yeah, you fucking did,
bro. You fucking you taped a fucking shotgun to someone's head, and you said you didn't kill him. Like, come on, bro. What are you doing?
Oh, and there are other times where he sets like tripwire traps. I think he was getting chased in like the first or second movie.
Yeah.
And a cop just activates a tripwire and gets blown in the head with a shotgun. And he's saying as if like that wasn't justified or like he didn't kill anyone.
Yeah. I think
there are times where he just straight up kills them.
I think one of my favourite scenes is in Saw 2 when Donnie Wahlberg and his whole like SWAT brigade are like busting into Jigsaw's headquarters, and there's like a stairway that goes up, and the SWAT officers first off, the cage that's around the staircase is electrified, so they all get zapped, and then another one just walks up the steps, and the step he's on drops down, and the next one above him smashes forward and breaks both of his shins. And it's like,
which, I mean, he was just doing his job.
Yeah, but like these are like trained SWAT officers, and this guy's known. His whole deal is like setting traps, and they took no precautions, and it cracks me up.
Yeah, I was surprised more people didn't die because they just rushed in.
It's actually insane that like that there's like no casualties.
Yeah. Yeah, ready. Wait, just up recording. Alright, yeah, so what are your favourite traps though?
I'd probably have to say, only because it stuck with me for years and years and years. I remember watching it when I was a young kid. I think it was the very start of Saw 5. There was this guy, and he was like strapped down to this table, and there was this giant pendulum axe swinging above him.
Yeah, fine.
And he has to stick his fingers into like the vices next to him, and obviously it's rigged because this guy's got personal beef with him. So he crushes his hands, and then it cuts him in half anyway. And that's I don't know. That's just stuck with me.
I think how it was rigged is he had to push a button on either side to crush it. But since his hands were crushed, he couldn't press the button like fully.
Probably. I don't know. It's been a while. I just remember that fucking axe coming down and chopping this poor bloke in half.
That shit was Jesus.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I think I enjoyed 5 a lot when I was younger. But looking back, it's not great. It's just like the 5 of just like the worst people you've ever met stuck together, and they all die.
Same with 2, with like all the people trapped in the house.
2 has got to be the collection of the worst people I've ever seen on film ever.
Yeah,
and
especially the big bloke. Like he's just all about business.
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't even know.
It's not Obi, is it? Obi's the drug dealer, huh?
I think so.
They're so dumb in that movie. I think, and I've looked on. Yeah, I've looked online, and people have justified why they were so dumb in that movie, and it's because they were like, "Oh, well, they've got like toxic nerve gas in the system, so it's like affecting their decision making or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but like, did you see that fucking one bird who put her hands up in that box and stuck her other hand in straight after and just ripped her arms open?
Mm. And then even once her hands are stuck inside, she just continuously lifts the syringe so it like spills everywhere.
yeah. For fuck's sake, it's so infuriating watching those movies.
Yeah.
They're fun though. I think the third one, I think I enjoy that the most. I think that's where Jigsaw's got that surgeon lady hooked up to that shotgun collar, and it's got open brain surgery.
So like I don't even know if she did anything. I think she
was cheating on her husband. I think that was like the plot twist at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't. Jigsaw doesn't even give a fuck. He just, it's all.
Saw an opportunity and was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold it against you.
Yeah, he's like, actually, you cheating on your husband, so this is me not killing you, idiot.
But I think 3 actually had some pretty good traps.
I think the first one, the freezer one, that chick's like strung up and naked, and there's like water shooting at her. I think that's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got to like, he just waits so long. It's so dumb. He has to stick his arm through the frozen poles to get the key.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb. Like in every trap, he just waits too long. And then he ends up doing what he needs to do, and they end up dying anyway.
Yeah, I think he does that for pretty much every single trap. But the only one he properly saves is the judge by burning all his son stuff.
That's just cruel.
Yeah.
This man just wants to like grieve, and Jigsaw's like, huh, nah.
And at the very end of the film, it's also revealed that he, like, since he died, I think, his daughter is still kidnapped.
Yeah.
And because she's just a straight up victim and all that, like.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything wrong. What's she, like 5?
Yeah, like the only thing she's a victim of is being neglected from her father because he's grieving.
Yeah, but it's so funny though. I think his name's Jeff. He like rescues the judge by burning his dead son's belongings, and then I think it's like the next trap is the guy who actually killed his son.
Yeah.
He's like strapped up, and his all his limbs and his head are gonna be like twisted around 360 degrees, and there's like a shotgun with a key, and if you pull the key, the shotgun will shoot your arm off or whatever. And I think the judge's head gets blown off.
Yeah, because he's just in the way. Like, Jeff doesn't warn him at all about it. He just pulls it off.
Yeah, and then the kid that killed his Jeff's kid ended up dying anyway.
Yeah, that's such a like shit way to go, because first, like, all his limbs are twisted around,
awful.
And then after all that, then it's his head.
Oh god. It makes me sick thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I keep coming back to these movies. I think I watch like all of them at least once a year. I'll just binge them in a week. That's just why it's that thing of like, I want to look away, but I just can't.
Yeah, well, I've like, even like as a kid when I watched this sort of stuff, I was terrified.
Oh yeah, no. It made me so sick as a kid, and I was a bit of a sook, but I'd watch it anyway. It still like makes me a bit queasy now, just to watch. And I think there's one or two, there's a handful of traps that like to this day I just can't watch, and I have to look away.
Yeah.
And I think in Saw X, is that the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in that one, I think almost all of those traps made me just my stomach was just churning.
I feel like Saw X is like one of the most rigged ones made by John.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. No one was getting out of those traps.
Because he made them do like hour-long surgery procedures in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, the guy had to cut open his skull and then pick out his brain, and dissolve it. He had no chance. There was no way he was getting out of there.
Yeah, it feels bad.
And then the other chick who had to cut her leg off with a
I think it's like a wire.
it was like a wire saw, and then they'd stick the tube in a bone marrow and suck that out. That made me so sick. I had to look away.
But most of the people did actually complete it, or would have completed it if they had just like a few extra minutes.
Or seconds even. Like the brain matter guy, it was like in the jar dissolving. But it was like seconds away. And I think there was a way they could have done that better, like the filmmakers. And I think if they had him like drop the scalpel or something, you know, like it was like a fuck up that he caused, not just
like the timer being not enough.
Yeah, like
it could be like a victim fuck up.
Yeah, and the same with pretty much every other trap in that movie. That's just what it feels like. It feels like it was just the filmmakers either being lazy or like, I don't know. I feel like they should have done something where it was their fuck up that made them die. I don't know. It's fine. It's whatever. Like, I'm not attached to these movies at all. They're just dumb. They're dumb fun.
Pretty much.
I enjoy just sitting down and just vegetating and just taking it in. Or shutting my brain off.
I hate, like, some of the characters I hate has to be both Amanda and Hoffman. Just because...
Is that his name?
Like,
Hoffman?
Yeah, well, Mark Hoffman.
Yeah, sorry.
But they're obviously disciples of John after they've been put through a trial themselves.
Yeah.
And John's whole thing is, once you get out of one, you can become a disciple if you want. And he preaches his thing about giving them a chance, but they always make the rig chaps because they always have like an agenda against the victim.
There's never any punishment either, which I love that.
Yeah, I think he has reprimanded Amanda a few times, but does absolutely nothing against it.
Oh, okay, yep.
Even though Amanda is like a fangirl for John, she still does her own thing.
Well, she gets tested in the first one by killing another guy, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, I think, because she tries to hurt herself or something, she gets put in the trap house.
And when she goes into the needle pit, that is...
I think that might be my favourite scene in like cinema history. That, oh my god, it's so disgusting and just... Oh, it just makes me want to vomit. Like, every time I watch that movie, I dread that one scene.
Yeah.
It's so off-putting and disgusting and just awful.
Like, just thinking about it is making my skin crawl.
Yeah, it's just... Oh, God. I think out of all of those movies, that's the one that I dread the most going back to. Because, like, if you... On the surface, like, if you're just looking at it, just face value, it's not that gory, like, compared to any of the other traps, but just, oh god, like a million needles used needles stabbing into you at once. It's just, I can't imagine anything worse.
And she was forced into that pit as well by Javier.
Yeah, she's just thrown in, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was bad.
And actually, have you played any of the Saw games on the PS3?
I played a bit of the first one. And I have seen like gameplay of both of them.
Yeah. Well, what's his name? Rig. He's the main character of the first one. And I think there's like a mini game in the first Saw game where the player has to like stick their hand in a toilet of used needles.
Oh yeah. That's a recurring mini game just to find keys for doors.
Yeah. I think there's another one, like an acid barrel or something. I don't know, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've played those, but yeah, oh god. And it's so funny how like this, like Saw, like, I'm trying to think of the word. inspired. I don't know if that's the right word, but like all these other filmmakers made shit to cash in on like Saw's popularity.
Yeah.
Like in the early 2000s, there was Hostel. I'm blanking, but there was there was a big hype around just torture porn and just gore to the extreme.
Mm.
Um,
Which I think when Saw was first released, like everyone thought it wasn't going to be successful because of the gore, but then it started to pick up in popularity.
To be fair though, I don't think it made that much money at the box office.
Yeah, I think at first it like flopped basically, but then
I think the first one made its money back. I think like it did fine. Same with the second and third, but I think after that it kind of just either broke even or like just marginally made its money back. But yeah, I think it's so funny. I think the first movie has got a lot in common with the Human Centipede.
Oh yeah.
Only because if you say either one of those movies to like, you know, a casual casual horror fan or a casual movie fan, they all have the same reaction. It's always, oh, yuck, oh, Saw, oh, Human Centipede. Those movies are disgusting. But the first Saw and the first Human Centipede, it's more like the idea of the violence.
Yeah.
Instead of actually showing it, because I'm trying to think of the traps in the first Saw movie. There was the razor wire maze, the flammable jelly,
trap.
Yeah,
Reverse bear trap.
Yep. Yeah, it was all like quick cuts and like just like cheesy editing, so you couldn't really see what was actually happening. But yeah, it's crazy how that evolved into like the crazy special effects and the gore by the end of the series.
Yeah, though the effect and like quick cuts that they used, they stayed in the Saw movies for like ages.
Yeah, I think it was.
All of them at least had something.
I think the first time I watched these movies, I think the quick cuts and like the horrible, disgusting green lighting was so cool in like the first movie.
Yeah.
But I think it just hasn't aged very well, and I think maybe it was Spiral. I think, or one of those newer ones. They tried to recreate it in like one of the ending scenes, and it just felt so cheap.
Oh well, I'm also looking at the Rotten Tomatoes of all of them.
Yeah.
And like the first Saw, it has a 50, so like a bit iffy. The only good one on
Is
Rotten
it the
Tomatoes
audience score or the critic score?
I think these. I don't even know.
Because I feel like the critics would bomb. They would dunk on it, but I think the audience would be way higher than 50.
Oh yeah, the audience score for actually that's Jigsaw, not the first one. Hold up. The audience score for the first one was 84%.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a bit of a cult classic, I think.
Pretty much. So Saw 10 has done the best in both the critic score and audience.
Really?
80 and 89% respectively.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have. I don't know. That's kind of surprising to me, I think.
I'm just going down the line, and like Saw 2, that flopped for the audience. Well, not completely flopped, but went down to 59%.
Yeah, not great.
So they're definitely dropping.
What was the critic score on Saw 2?
Saw 2 is 37.
God. What about Saw 3? We'll go up to Saw 3 and then we'll move on.
Yeah. Saw 3, critics is 29, audience is 71.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to do a ranking video at some point. And for me, spoiler alert, Saw 3 might be at the top, maybe. You have to wait and see.
Possibly.
But I'll tell you right now, Saw 3D, might be at the bottom. Spoiler alert. But we'll get there.
Because they just tried to jump on the wagon for 3D effects and never worked out.
Well, it's not even just that. It's just the plot at that point was so... It was just such a fucking jumbled mess.
But they had some of like the grimiest, I guess, traps.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
There's one where some dude has to pull a fishing hook out of some girl's throat.
Oh, God.
And yeah, that shit sucked to watch.
Yeah, and then, what was it? She had like metal tubes aimed at her throat, and if she screamed or made a sound, it would shoot straight at her neck. Was that it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
God, how does he expect them to do that without making any sound?
I don't know. It's so funny. When she died, he was like, "Why couldn't you just shut the fuck up, bitch?" It's so dumb, bro.
It's like, yes. Just be quiet.
It's so funny. Some of those lines in probably all of those movies definitely could have done a second take, or a third, or a fourth. But hey, I'm not the director of a $1 million franchise.
Yeah. Because if they keep spitting them out, I guess they know what they're doing.
Yeah, if I keep consuming them, they're gonna keep making them.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's my fault.
But overall, the Saw movies aren't too bad.
It depends on what you mean.
Like obviously, if it's not your movie to watch, you won't enjoy it because it's very particular, I guess.
For sure, you've got to enjoy like the schlocky, like over the top violence as well, and the stupid fucking cop B plots as well.
Yeah, some of the plot points were never my forte, I guess.
But by the end of it, it just feels like a fucking like a serial cop television show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I haven't seen NCIS, but I feel like you'd be like that. It's a bit of a bold claim. But yeah, it's just after the first movie, I feel like everyone was there for the traps, and the cop B plot was cool and all, but like
I don't think it would be necessary.
I do. I think it. I think in any story, I think you need. There's a word for it.
Like an opposing force or something.
Well, yeah, not just that. You need like some downtime to make your climaxes and like confrontations to make it have more impact. I think it's like you need like the downtime, and when the traps took a backseat to the cop plots, it was when it nosedived, I think.
Yeah. Because they just focus on like the wrong stuff.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know if it was for like budgetary reasons or just like bad writing, but when the traps took a backseat to the cop plot, it just, oh god, it's just, I could probably stop at 3 is what I always say. Maybe 4, but everything after that, the cop plots get too much, and the traps aren't even that great after 4 or 5, I think. And by the end of 5, I'm just like exhausted. I'm just fatigued. And I think that's why the series is nosedived as well.
Yeah.
And I think
so I would.
There you go.
You can go. No, full. One thing I also would like to do is like ranking of all the traps for each of the movies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That'd be a longer episode, I think, because there's a fair few. I think we might do. Maybe we'll do the Saw movies in one episode, and then the traps as like a longer, maybe 2-part episode. That means we have to watch all of them again.
Fuck. Alrighty.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch the first half. You can watch the second half,
Yeah, alrighty.
and we'll just compare notes.
Because it's like I know most of the traps, but I just gotta refresh myself on them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap this episode up here. Just a mess of an episode this week. We're just gonna keep it short and sweet, just to get a feel of things. And then next time we're gonna have a bit more of a longer, more structured episode. Yeah. Thanks for joining me, Ethan.
No worries.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See you later.
See ya, guys.
Bye.